Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel and to this painting tutorial. Today I will be painting a little bird on a branch, and I did make my sketch on just a regular printing paper, and then now I'm tracing it onto watercolor paper using a graphite paper. I usually do that because I don't like to sketch directly onto my watercolor paper because you are gonna erase, and I don't like to be left with smudges or rips on my paper, so I do like to sketch on another paper and then trace it. I'm using a block, so I cannot really trace it on a window, but if you're using just a single sheet of paper, you can trace it on a window, or maybe just scribble on the back of your paper and trace it like that. After finished with my sketch, I used a little bit of artist eraser to remove the excess graphite, and then moved on to my painting. First I've pre-wetted the entire paper, and then afterwards I've mixed some black, a little bit of brownish color and a little bit of blue color to paint in the background. And I'm painting background on just wet paper because, as you can see right now, I do want it to be a little bit looser and to look as though it is out of the focus. So I tapped in here and there with my brush a little bit of foliage, and then with a smaller brush, script brush, I painted in a couple of branches. Afterwards I left it to dry completely, and when it did dry I moved on to painting the branch on which my bird is standing on, and also the bird. And for the branch, I'm again using this script brush, liner brush, very thin brush with a pointy tip, but you can use maybe any round brush that you have with a pointy tip. You can even use a flat brush if it makes it easier for you to paint thinner lines. And then with just a little bit, I guess that is something like yellowish color, maybe something like rose sienna, I painted in the branch, and then on top of it added just a little bit of darker brown here and there. And you can see I'm not painting the entire branch in the same color, but I'm just adding a little bit of darker color here, a little bit of lighter leaving there. So I do want my branch to be a little bit more textured and to have a little bit more colors on it. And that is how I also painted those smaller branches going out of that larger one on which the bird is going to sit. And right now I've picked up a little bit darker. I think this is just a black with a little bit of brown. And as you can see, I've painted and started on the branch and then moved outwards to paint that smaller little branch going out of that larger ones. And that is basically it. Quite simple way to paint the branches. And I did not paint the lines straight, but I did wiggle with my brush because I do wanted them to look a little bit more interesting and wiggly. For the bird, I started with a lighter yellow color. This is actually that same, something like rose sienna, and then added on top of it a little bit of the brownish color, a little bit red for the head, and then darker brown color just above her eyes and on her beak. And I also left some parts white, and also where the feathers are I left some parts a little bit lighter, some darker. And then with this smaller detail brush I've added in a couple of lines to make it look as though there is some hair on our bird. And right now I am painting her legs, her feet, and you know, they have just those little 3 fingers, so I've painted in, it's not really visible here, but I did paint those 3 fingers with that darker red color, and then went around it and painted a little bit of the branch to make it more distinct. It was not really so visible. So then I've added again with a darker color some lines to her feathers in the back to make that part a little bit darker. Also now I'm using a white gouache, adding some details to her beak and on her head, and also on the part where her feathers are, and then on top of it a little bit of the darker color just beneath her head, and leaving the white part where the belly is. On top of it a couple of sprinkles with first that brown, and then on top of it some white gouache. And with that I'll be finishing off. Quite simple. I think you can definitely try this one, do this one, And guys, if you do like this video, please hit the like button, share it, comment. If you haven't still, please do subscribe to my channel. That really mean a lot to me. Maybe consider joining my channel. That's the join next to the subscribe. Maybe click on that, listen to the offer, and then decide. Again, thank you so much for all your support for this year, for the year before. And well, I hope this 2021 we're heading to is going to be better and happier than this one. So I do wish you a lot of health, happiness, and everything you want for yourself in this new year. And well, I guess we'll probably see each other next year. So again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next year. Bye!